From afar, with fire in his eyes, he's standing by your door. He's waiting for you. I see him standing by the door with fire in his eyes and healing in his wings to heal someone who believes. So open up your heart. He's waiting for you. Life is more than just a dream. How far can you see? What you say is who you are. When you believe you will.
You see, I believe that's why even when I join people in my church, when I join couples, I tell the parents, because the day you bring in all this money and you discover that you have ended up married, you should be ready to face the consequences. Because now I believe that for somebody to sleep with a woman,
well, I've known Mr. Tune for about 21 years now. We're together at University of Calabar while he came in to do his first degree. And for a greater part of his stay in University of Calabar, we were in the same room. He said we slept on the same bed, we ate from the same table, we attended the same fellowship. He was my pastor there. You see, you cannot find the right words to describe him. For me, I see Pastor Tony as an institution. You know, he has left so much behind that, you know, sometimes I try to imagine the kind of life he lived.
Reverend Tony Atie is a wonderful man of God. He's a mentor by example. He's someone who was close to me when he was around, and who I was close to. And he taught me a lot of things that would happen. And he was an embodiment of knowledge and a beacon of encouragement.
Well, Reverend Tony Atie is a friend. Not just a friend, he's a brother. You know, there are some friends that stick closer to you than your biological brother. Reverend Tony is one of such persons.
He could encourage you to do things that you would never have done if you didn't get that encouragement.
We grew from there to when he graduated. I graduated as well too, and we started School of the Spirit together. From there, he graduated to Villa Christian Center. And
another thing is that he was a connector. He was a connector. He was a bridge builder. And he could help you achieve anything. I mean, it could make you get to where you want to get to?
We met far back 1987 while we were still in the secondary school together. We met not long after meeting. He got born again. After his salvation experience, I followed because we were friends, playmates in school together. And one thing I noted about him, something I saw in him, which I love so much, attracted me to him, is his passion for excellence. As a young man growing up, you could see how neatly he does his things. You could see it in his handwriting, his notebooks in school, his bags, his uniform. In fact, they had to pick him as the senior prefect because he was always neatly dressed.
I met Pastor Tony Atie at a conference I was hosted by a close friend of his, Reverend and it was at that conference, and when we met, actually, even though that was like the first time we were meeting one-on-one, it was as though he had known me, for and
in fact, when you talk about youth movement in this town, Tony Atie is one of the pioneers of the first major youth revival that came up in the 90s, 89, 90, 91, 92, the early 90s. He was one of those persons who pioneered a major revival in this city.
Pastor Tony made a huge impact in the church. First of all, his message of redefining the status quo was great because there were certain things that needed to change. And those were his major targets, to change the way things are done, especially in the church and even in people's minds. And so he wanted to see that not only do we come to church and learn how to be spiritual, but also that we could use our minds to glorify God and combine an anointed spirit with the mind of Christ and achieve great things in the world that will make the world bow and understand that Jesus is Lord.
One of the greatest things that I have learned from him is that he's a very secure person. That's why today many of us are still attached to the person he is, because we rode on his wings. He gave us the opportunity to fly. He wanted us to know what he knew. He took us to where he has gone to. He's only a man who is secure who can do that. He's only a man who believes in the future of people who can do what he was doing. So quite a lot of us today, where we are today, is traceable to what Pastor Tony has done in our life, and we give God thanks. We miss him so much, but we thank God that his legacy, what he has deposited in us,
his impact, globally is wonderful. But I would like to say what he impacted in my life. For one, if not for his bridge building and connecting capabilities, I don't think I would have met God's servant Pastor Komaya, who is a covering over my life right now, who is the major mentor in my life. I don't think I would have met him, and I don't think I would have been enjoying the level of grace that I'm enjoying now. It was through him I actually met Pastor Komaya, and all it took was I would like to meet this man of God. This is what God said to me, and it was a call, and he did that. So if it wasn't for that connecting, that he was good at, I wouldn't have met that. And I'm sure he did that for so many other people also.
Eventually will not have something and will not want to share.
He's not a church person. When I use the word a church person, I mean this person is my church member. In as much as you're a believer, you have issues, he goes the extra mile of solving that problem. He doesn't ask you the church work for you. So he was a people person. He was so accessible. He was there to solve problems for people. You understand? It was beyond denomination.
He is what do you call? He's a personification of this word that they say it's not how long, but how well.
very simple issue. You see, I believe that's why even when I join people in my church, when I join couples, I tell the parents to stay clear from the homes. The roles they should play should be strictly advisory. At the end of the day, you bring in all this money and you discover that you have ended up marrying a remote family. So I think every parent should, however busy they are, create time for their children. I think that was just the plight of that little girl who wanted to spend at least one day with her father. I think parents should be ready to face the consequences. Because now I believe that for somebody to sleep with a woman, you should be
went to South Africa for conferences, and even his strategic leaders and pastors conference, which he hosted every year, and pulled resource persons from all over Nigeria, in most cases the world, to be able to teach pastors how to do ministry in the 21st century. And this at no cost to the pastors who were attending this meeting. I mean, it was such a selflessness that, I think that will be what he will be remembered for, because without him bringing those people, many of us would not have known this. I mean, the likes of men like Pastor Godman, Akinlabi, and so many others that he was able to pull down for meetings to teach us how to do ministry in the 21st century. And I think that was worth it.
In few years to come, one of the persons that will be one of the fathers of faith that will have risen in this city and in this country is this man. You could see the horror of greatness all over him. The horror, the wisdom for ministry. In fact, this man was wisdom personified. Wisdom for ministry, excellence. Come on. We talk about somebody doing ministry. He got an early exposure in ministry that was different from what we generally saw, understood here in Warren. So it was like somebody bringing a new way.
When I saw testimonials, people were coming from far and near, from Lagos, from Port Harcourt, from Abuja, people that has affected their life. So, in a simple sentence, he was a people person.
The first time we had ministers coming together under a platform, ministers conference that drew ministers from different, beyond denominational bias. He's the first person that ever brought that initiative under this program he organized called Strategic Pastors and Church Workers Conference. Here he brings in other ministers who have excelled or are excelling in their work to come and inspire ministers here in town. And I will tell you, he's the first person that ever initiated it in this town. We have a challenge here in Warri, mentorship. When I don't want to cast blame on anybody, everybody with their capacity, everybody with what they can offer. Some people don't really know how to pass it on to others. And I think that is one of the things we lack in this city. There's a bridge between the higher ones and the younger ones, the older ones and the younger ones. There's a bridge. But Reverend Tony came rising in this city in his lifetime. He was one person that God started using to bridge the gap, and with the knowledge some things that we ought to learn from these our fathers, which we can't access them to get it. And by the reason of his exposure to Greek ministers and ministries outside this city, made into yes, to yes, he was able to fit in as a bridge between the younger ministers and what the older successful ministers know and are doing, which
and needed to pass on.
Yes, which
His legacy lives on in the church. The church continues. Beulah International Christian Center, that's still doing a great work, still carrying on from where he left off. And besides that, his legacy will also live on in the likes of the things we were able to learn from certain conferences he, organized. And besides that, even the one-on-one communication. Like there was something he told me that up till that moment I never knew was in scripture. He said to me, he said, Godfrey, if you know what I know, I will no longer intimidate you. I mean, that's the kind of person he was. If you know what I know, I will no longer intimidate you. And that was when I found out it was in scriptures, Job chapter 12 verse 3 and Job chapter 13 verse 2. I know what you know, I understand what you understand, and therefore I am not inferior to you.
That man is somebody who has the spirit of forgiveness. I am telling you, that's one thing that has guided me in leadership. There are people, there are things that have hurt in the ministry. When you see this man extending the heart of love, some might just begin to wonder the kind of capacity God has given to him to embrace people, even after they have wronged him. If I begin to recount some of the things I know, you will not believe. So I learned that in life, if you must move forward, just like Steve Farrar said, he said, if you must last the mile, you must learn to put the past behind. That's one thing I've learned.
I think I'll start with myself. For me, I will miss his advice. I will miss his advice. I will miss his smiling face. And that's the way he always called me, Pastor Godfrey. It always made me laugh. And sometimes, even if I've not called him for a while, he'll pick up his phone and call me. Like, my pastor, what is going on? We've not seen for a long time. That care. And I believe a whole lot of people will miss that. They will also miss the SPLC, Strategic Pastors and Leaders Conference. They will miss that too, and so many other meetings that he used to organize to try to see to the enhancement of the body of Christ. I think they will miss those things.
Okay, God.
He stirs up vision in me when I meet with him. It makes me feel like, man. Yes, it makes me feel like you need to go far. You need to study. You need to bring out the best in you. It makes me dream global. Reverend Tony.
That's a big one.
Yes, anytime I meet with him, it makes me dream global. Let me just use that word. Reverend Tony made me dream global. And anytime till date, even at his death, anytime I think about him, I just imagine what he will tell me.
His passion to see other ministries grow, which is also a passion in the life of my father, Pastor Kumaya, to see other ministries grow, to do whatever it will take to see other ministries grow. And it's a passion and something I learned, and it's really helped. It's really helped. And there was something he said right before he died, a few months before he died. He called me up to see him, and he said to me, God is raising you up to be a hub for a new wave of ministers that God is raising. And you will find that many of this new crop of ministers will begin to revolve around you and revolve around your ministry. And you will raise a new generation of ministers from there. And to tell the truth, this is a year on, and we're beginning to see that happen. We're beginning to see that happen. A whole lot of young ministers are coming up and trying to learn from what God is doing here in Sharon House. And these were his words, and it's resonating over and over.
there?
Wow, his accessibility. His accessibility.
Humility. He was accessible to the high and low. Reverend Tony was accessible. Reverend Tony can just finish a meeting with one of the generals of faith, and he will meet with you, he will still relate with you. And sometimes when he meets you or you meet him with some of these big names, the way he will introduce you to them, you will feel, he will raise your morale. He will raise your morale. It will make you feel important.
Before, life is beyond just the church. Life is beyond, it's about people. And we're trying to do our best to make sure that by the day as people comes around us, we impact them positively. That's one thing that it drives into us. Impact. This life may be short. You are here today, you may not be here tomorrow. So for every person, you sure there's a word he normally use. He said for every person you meet, make sure that you put your signature on that person's life.
Reverend Tony Atie was a man who loved God. He loved God passionately. That man loved God passionately. And I think if you love God, every other thing will fall in place. I realize these days many Christians are derailing, especially pastors are derailing. The reason for derailment is simply defined as no proper foundation of experience of the love of Christ. No depth in the love of Christ. Shallow experience of God's love. Paul said, what shall separate me from the love of God? Tony loved that scriptures. That scripture was one of his best scripture. Shall tribulation, shall peril, shall hide, shall death, things like that. I remember those days he can quote that scripture. He can quote it word for word from verse to verse. Come on. He loved God. And every time I also think about him, I'm inspired by his love for God.
And he's a great communicator. And I think many pastors should actually learn to be accessible. Because I found out that most of the greatest men of God are accessible. I think for me, the people I call greatest men of God are people who are accessible.
He preaches love and he practices love. I am telling you, he preaches love. If there is anything that my pastor has left in our heart, it's the pursuit of love. His love towards God and people, it's so exceptional. That is something that you cannot take from him. He showed us how to love the good and the bad. So I think in a simple sentence, loving is one of the things that he has left.
It's love for God. And because he loved God, you will see somebody who never caught.
Get married to. Don't impose a woman on a man. Because if you do that, he's going to be getting married out of pity or out of pressure. And then when he eventually brings a woman into his house, he will be the one that will stay with her. He will be the one that will have to go through everything he will need to go through. So I think they should be left alone to make their choices, to make their decision, which is what we are actually looking at, and then face the responsibility of it.
I can tell you, by the grace of God, the church is waxing strong. And you see, it's because of what he has done. He didn't build a church around himself. There are sometimes in a month you'll be in service. Either Pastor Clem is preaching, Pastor Patrick is preaching, I'm preaching, or we're doing so many things. Even as far as the wedding. So the church was not built around him. So at his exit, things were going on normally. You understand? So it's a big thing. The pastor was telling me, he said, if it will be my pastor that died, he said, I'm telling you that it may only last for 3 or 4 Sundays. Thereafter, it's over. But today is a year. I was still waxing strong. Like I said, we missed him so much. But I tell you that what he has left, what he has taught us, the leadership he has provided for us is something that has kept us going.
Somewhere else, but he was the facilitator. And he called me up and said, Pastor Godfrey, are you free at so time? I said, yes, I'm free. He said, okay, I would like you to join me for a conference. And, so that we'll go together. And I want you to learn what I'm going to teach there because I know you need it, And we went there and it was a wonderful time. I was blessed. And he was actually so open that he said to me, Godfrey, if I'm going anywhere in this nation, anywhere at all in this country, and I will give you 2 weeks notice, I'll let you know. And so that if you can make it, join me, we'll go there together so you can learn these things and watch it. It's amazing. It was such a good conference. I will miss it.
I can see the fire.